You're not imagining it, and you're definitely not soft. It's just that the cracks everyone pretends not to see, they've widened. This is Australia, 2025, sunburnt, beautiful, and barely holding it together. The biggest lie right now is that everything's fine. But if you lean in for just a second, listen past the polite smiles and small talk, you'll hear something else. A country that's exhausted, overcharged, underpaid, and slowly giving up. If this video hits even a bit too close, leave a comment below. Let's stop pretending together. Everywhere you look, something feels off. Not explosive, not dramatic, just off. Rent isn't just high, it's soul-breaking. You don't dream of owning a home anymore. You just hope your lease isn't terminated when your landlord suddenly wants to sell. Affordable housing used to mean a shot at comfort. Now, it means living 2 hours from your job and praying your train shows up on time. And the worst part? Everyone talks about it like it's completely normal. Like $800 for a 2-bedroom box is just the Australian way now. Even groceries have turned into anxiety triggers. You pick up a tomato, see the price, and put it back like it's made of gold. You used to laugh about a $9 lettuce. Now you expect it. Every supermarket trip feels like a math test and a guilt trip at the same time. You skin the discount aisle like a hawk, downgrade to no-brand everything, and silently hope no one notices. But they do, because they're doing the same thing. And no one talks about how humiliating it feels to keep pretending it's fine. You start to ration your emotions the same way you ration your money. Don't get too angry. It won't change anything. Don't get too hopeful. It hurts more when things fall through. You begin saving joy like a rare currency, only spending it when you're absolutely sure it's safe. And when you laugh too hard or feel too good, something inside you whispers, be careful. Because peace has become temporary. And deep down, you're scared of what comes after. You've become a master of emotional math. You weigh the cost of vulnerability against the risk of being dismissed. You want to talk to someone, but everyone's struggling. You want to vent, but you're not sure it's allowed. So instead of opening up, you say nothing. You swallow it all. You distract yourself. And when you finally do cry, it catches you off guard because you didn't know you were holding that much inside. Sleep doesn't recharge you like it used to. You wake up feeling like you barely paused. Rest has become performative. 8 hours, but still anxious. You reach for your phone before your feet hit the floor. Notifications, reminders, warnings. No soft start, just survival. Even dreams feel cluttered now. You dream about work, money, missing trains. You dream in deadlines. And it's not just fatigue, it's depletion. Like someone keeps draining your battery while you sleep. And in all of this, self-care has been twisted into a punchline. You're told to meditate, journal, hydrate, while your rent is overdue, your Centerlink claim is pending, and your inbox is overflowing. No amount of bubble baths will fix a broken economy. No scented candle can replace a functioning mental health system. But we're told to keep calm and carry on, even when the house is on fire. And somehow, if you burn out, it's still your fault. So you keep performing, smiling at customers, waving at neighbors, posting photos with filters that hide more than your skin. You're managing, but you're not really living. You're keeping it together just enough to not fall apart in public. And the scariest part? You've gotten good at it. Too good. Because now, no one knows you're struggling. Not even you. The jobs haven't gotten better. They've gotten more flexible, sure, but not in a good way. Flexibility now means your employer can cancel your shift without warning. It means working weekends for exposure and filling out ABN forms just to stack shelves or deliver food. You clock in with a smile and clock out wondering if you've moved forward at all. And even when you're off the clock, you're not really resting. You're checking emails, replying to texts from your boss, side hustling just to breathe. Exhaustion has become a personality trait. Every time your body screams for rest, someone reminds you to be grateful you have a job. Gratitude shouldn't feel like a threat, and yet it does. You skip doctor's appointments because the copay is more than your grocery budget. You hold off on dental work until you're wincing through every bite. Psychologists? You'd love to. Too bad the next bulk billed appointment is 6 months away. So you keep bottling it up. You smile in meetings, cry in your car, and tell everyone, I'm just a bit tired lately. Because admitting burnout sounds like failure. And what nobody admits out loud is this. Even basic joys have started to feel like luxuries. Going to the movies? That's a financial strategy now. Taking a weekend off? That's something you have to justify to your bank account. You don't say, I'm taking a break. You say, I'll make up the hours later. And deep down, you start to feel guilty for even wanting rest, as if slowing down means falling behind. Like you're the problem for needing what every human being is wired to crave: peace. Even dating has changed. Love used to be about connection. Now it feels like logistics. Can we afford this? Will our leases match? How many shifts do we need to cover dinner? Romance in 2025 isn't dead. It's just exhausted. People delay marriage not because they don't believe in it, but because the economy makes it impractical. Kids? Forget it. Starting a family feels like stepping onto a financial landmine. It's not about fear of commitment. It's fear of collapse. And that's not healthy. It's heartbreaking. And then there's the shame. The kind you carry quietly. You feel it when you say no to outings, when your card gets declined, when you ask your parents to borrow money again, even though you're 30. This shame doesn't scream. It whispers. It eats at your confidence, slowly rewrites your identity. And because everyone else is also pretending to be fine, you think it's just you. But it's not. It never was. And the climate? It's not a warning anymore. It's the soundtrack of our lives. Heat waves that cancel school. Fires that blanket entire suburbs in smoke. Floods that destroy towns and then vanish from the news cycle a week later. We don't even flinch when the sky turns brown. We take photos, post them with a wow, and go back to work. And insurance? That used to be peace of mind. Now, it's a luxury item. Entire communities priced out of safety. But hey, at least it's sunny, right? If you're still watching and feeling like this video is your life in real time, hit that like button. It's not just about the algorithm. It tells us we're not alone in this silence. The digital divide isn't just about speed anymore. It's about survival. Remote workers in rural Australia are still clinging to barely their signals, while city kids do their homework tethered to cafe Wi-Fi because their family can't afford unlimited data. And let's not forget the government apps crashing every time you try to apply for help. In 2025, being digitally connected isn't a luxury, it's oxygen. Yet somehow, we've accepted dead zones and paper gig data like it's just how things are. Every time a Centerlink portal fails, it doesn't just cost time, it costs dignity. But instead of fixing it, the system shrugs, and so do we. Australia's biggest epidemic might be loneliness. Not the kind you see on TV, the quiet, invisible kind. You're surrounded by people on the train, but no one makes eye contact. You haven't had a real conversation in weeks. Group chats feel like work. Catch-ups get canceled. Everyone's tired. Everyone's busy. So you scroll. You post a meme about wanting to disappear and get 43 likes. It's connection without warmth. Community without touch. And nobody's admitting that it hurts. We've gotten so used to broken systems that we've built our lives around avoiding them. Public transport? You budget 20 minutes extra for the breakdown. Emergency room? Bring snacks. You'll be there all night. Government services? Expect nothing and you won't be disappointed. And the politicians? Their promises now sound like background noise. Each new pledge is met with a shrug. Each scandal with a sigh. Democracy feels like choosing which hand to get slapped with. And somehow, we've convinced ourselves that checking out is just maturity. Education was supposed to be the ladder out. Now it's a treadmill. You study. You graduate. You owe tens of thousands in HECS debt and work in a job that existed before your degree did. You teach, but your classroom is overcrowded and under-resourced. You learn, but the subjects don't match the world you're entering. We sell degrees like magic keys, but the locks keep changing. And kids? They're watching. They're already disillusioned before they even get a chance to try. We said we wanted a fair go, but now it feels like a fair fight for survival. You pay more, get less, and are told to smile through it. Your local cafe closed. Your favorite store shuttered. Your street feels unfamiliar. And no one calls it what it is: decay. Slow, silent, tolerated decay. The kind that creeps in and makes the abnormal look normal. The kind where you stop asking for more and just settle for less pain. And if you want to know how deep it goes, just look at how we joke about it. We laugh about being broke. We make memes about mental breakdowns. Sarcasm has become Australia's unofficial language of pain. Because when you can't cry, you joke. When you can't scream, you shrug. And when someone finally asks, "Are you okay?" you say, "Yeah, mate, all good." Even when it isn't. Especially when it isn't. It's easy to feel like you're just being dramatic. Like maybe you're the only one who can't hack it. But that's the lie. You're not weak. You're living in a country that's been quietly slipping while pretending everything's just fine. We've normalized burnout, isolation, inequality, and climate grief. We've wrapped it in humor, hidden it in small talk, and dressed it up as resilience. But survival isn't the same as thriving, and getting by shouldn't be the national goal. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Even just a dot. It tells the algorithm you care. And more importantly, it tells someone else who's scrolling in silence that they're not the only one feeling this way. Refugees and First Nations communities still face the sharpest edge of the struggle, but it's invisible in the national conversation. In detention, families are dehumanized and silenced. In remote communities, infrastructure barely exists. Boil water alerts, collapsing housing, sky-high food prices. This isn't history, it's 2025. And the deeper tragedy is that so many Australians don't even hear about it. The silence is systemic. And when these groups speak up, they're dismissed as angry or political. But how else do you speak when you've been ignored for generations? The gap isn't closing. It's being wallpapered over. The saddest part? We're not shocked anymore. You hear that a family is living out of their car, and you nod. Not because you're heartless, because it's happened to someone you know. You hear a friend say they can't afford therapy, and you offer memes instead. It's not apathy. It's fatigue. Compassion fatigue. And it's spreading faster than any virus. Because when everyone's struggling, it's hard to keep caring loudly. We tell ourselves things will turn around. That the next election, next policy, next year will fix it. But change doesn't happen when we keep numbing ourselves. It happens when we talk. When we say, "No, actually this isn't okay." When we stop blaming ourselves for systems that were never built to protect us. And when we stop trying to survive alone and start calling out the crisis for what it is, a quiet emergency unfolding in plain sight. Let's talk about addiction. Not just to substances, but to escapism. Gambling apps, sports betting, pokies. In 2025, the average street corner has more betting shops than public benches. And the algorithms know exactly who to target. Those scraping by, those desperate for one lucky break. It's not entertainment. It's entrapment. We treat it like personal failure, but it's engineered dependence. The same country that debates the morality of cannabis still lets corporations build casinos inside smartphones. We've built an industry on people's rock bottoms and called it freedom. And the most chilling part? It's all completely legal. The real danger isn't collapse. It's comfortable. It's learning to live with dysfunction so well that we forget it's dysfunction at all. We adjust. We adapt. We accept. Until one day, we realize we don't even remember what normal used to feel like. And that's what makes this moment so critical. Because if we don't call it out now, we might never be able to tell the difference between resilience and ruin. You're not broken. The system is. And you deserve more than a life that feels like treading water in boots made of debt, burnout, and beige optimism. If this resonates with even a flicker of truth, hit subscribe. This channel doesn't pretend things are okay. It speaks to those who know they're not and want better. And let's not sugarcoat what happens if we don't change. Entire generations will grow up thinking this is how life is supposed to feel. Heavy, relentless, transactional. Kids will think that never seeing their parents because of triple shifts is just how you raise a family. That skipping meals, ignoring pain, and downplaying dreams is what adulthood means. They'll inherit not just the debt and the disasters, but also the numbness. And they'll repeat it. Unless we make it stop. Australia wasn't always like this. There was a time when lucky country didn't sound sarcastic. When barbecues weren't luxuries. When housing was something you aimed for, not something you mourned. That spirit isn't gone. It's just buried under the weight of quiet crises and louder distractions. But nostalgia won't save us. Honesty might. And it starts with admitting that pretending everything's okay isn't strength, it's surrender. You don't have to scream to make change. Whispering counts too. Even watching this video counts. Because it means you haven't given up completely. It means you still feel something. And if there's one thing this country needs more than politicians or policies, it's people who still feel, still care, still want more than just getting through the week. If that's you, give this a like. It helps us reach others who've also been silently slipping. We're taught not to complain, to be grateful, to toughen up. But what if gratitude and grit are being used to keep us quiet? What if the real strength isn't in accepting struggle, but in calling it out, in asking, loudly or softly, why a country with this much land, wealth, and sun can't seem to take care of its people anymore? And no, we're not talking about entitlement. We're talking about dignity. The kind that comes from knowing your basic needs are met without selling your soul. There's a cruel irony here. The more we normalize struggle, the less visible it becomes. And when suffering becomes invisible, it becomes ignorable. By leaders, by media, by even your own friends. And the more we ignore it, the deeper it gets. That's why this video isn't just a list of problems, it's a warning. A mirror, a hand reaching out in the dark saying, hey, you see this too, right? Somewhere between headlines and hashtags, we stopped demanding better. We started negotiating with hardship. We told ourselves, at least I have a job, instead of I deserve a job that pays enough to live. We said, it could be worse, instead of this isn't good enough. And that's how systems win. Not through force, but through fatigue, through the slow erosion of hope, replaced by acceptance. But the truth is, just because something's common doesn't mean it's right. And just because no one's fixing it doesn't mean we can't speak up. We're not just talking about bills and politics. We're talking about mental health, about identity, about waking up every day in a place that tells you you're lucky while quietly bleeding you dry. You start questioning yourself, wondering if you're the problem, if you just need to hustle harder, sleep less, care less. But deep down, something in you still burns. That's the part they haven't beaten yet. That's your proof that this video, this message matters. Leave a comment. Tell us what Australia looks like through your eyes right now. Because the more voices, the more undeniable this becomes. So where does this all lead? Honestly, that's up to us. We can either keep normalizing a broken status quo, or we can stop pretending. We can start talking, start demanding, start organizing. This doesn't mean rage in the streets. It means reality in our conversations, truth in our media, pressure in our policies. It means saying, no, this is not fine, and refusing to be gaslit into thinking otherwise. And that's powerful, because nothing changes until normal gets redefined. If no one else has told you this, your pain is valid. Your frustration makes sense. And your sense that things shouldn't be this hard, that's not entitlement, it's awareness. We're not here to sugarcoat the struggle. We're here to name it, because only when you name a problem can you fight it. This channel exists for a reason, to be the voice people wish they heard sooner. And if you made it this far, that voice might now be yours too. What happens next isn't about hope alone. It's about honesty, action, and choosing not to go numb. This channel isn't about doom. It's about decoding reality so we can rebuild it. If you're still watching, consider subscribing. Not because of vanity metrics, but because we're building a community that knows better is possible and wants better out loud. One voice may not change the system, but millions of us refusing to stay silent, that's how the ground starts to shake. You deserve more than quiet resignation. You deserve more than coping mechanisms and empty slogans. You deserve an Australia that actually works for you, not just for investors, developers, or corporate giants. And that begins here, with videos like this, with people like you who choose to notice. Australia, 2025. The sun still shines. The surf still rolls. The gum trees still sway. But beneath the postcard beauty lies a storm. Not sudden, not loud, but constant, grinding, wearing us all down one day at a time. And the scariest part? We started calling that storm normal. But it's not. It never was. And it never should be.